So imagine crawling through a hole barely wider than your shoulders. You can feel the rock pressing against your ribs with every breath. That's where James McFaden found himself in March 2019, deep in the Sistema cave system in Oaxaca, Mexico. This place is no joke. It's the 8th deepest cave system in the world, and James, a 34-year-old Scottish veteran caver, was part of a 4-person team mapping out its southern branches. By early afternoon, they'd already reached a depth of 3,200 feet. At that point, the team split up. James, being James, decided to go off alone into an unmapped tunnel, just 24 inches wide and 36 inches high. He had all the standard gear: helmet, dual LED lights, 40 hours of emergency supplies, basically everything except a way out. Like bro packed for a weekend trip to hell and forgot the exit plan. Around 2:40 p.m., while he was crawling alone, a 4.3 magnitude earthquake hit. Deep underground, James felt the ground shift. And just like that, a partial collapse sealed the passage behind him. 35 feet of rock, completely blocking his return. The tunnel ahead? Too narrow to squeeze through. So now he's stuck. In a 10-foot pocket of stone, alone, and no way out. At first, things are manageable. He still has his radio, and he's calm. He lets his team know what happened, and they start trying to dig him out. But the space is too tight. They can't bring in any real equipment, and progress is painfully slow. Day 1 passes. Then day 2. His water runs out. He keeps communicating, but his voice starts changing, the dehydration setting in. On day 3, he says his last words over radio. "No more light. I'm very thirsty." That one always hits me. By the time rescuers reach him 6 days later, it's too late. James had died of dehydration days before. But that's not the part that made headlines. What they found? That's the nightmare. When the rescue crew uncovered his body, it wasn't really, a body anymore. It looked human-shaped, but it was hollow. Inside, scientists later discovered a brand new species of carnivorous cave ant, Leptogenius cavernicola. These little monsters had turned James into a literal hive. They'd chewed through every organ, left the skin untouched. A perfect shell. They carved tunnels through his chest, built chambers in his skull, even created tiny ventilation holes in his skin so the colony could breathe. Bro, they engineered him. Biologists were stunned. These ants behaved like army ants, hyper-organized, violent, consuming everything in their path. But here, in total darkness, they'd adapted to use a human as architecture. The wildest part? The formic acid they secreted actually preserved him. His skin didn't rot. It stayed intact, leathery, sealed by the ants themselves. So yeah, when people call it the human hive incident, they're really not kidding. James didn't just die in that cave. He literally became part of it. It's messed up. July 17th, 2012. 2 brothers, Michael and Robert Parker, both 26, slipped quietly into one of the most restricted cave systems on Earth, Lechuguilla Cave, New Mexico. To give you a better idea, Lechuguilla isn't just any cave. It's basically the Fort Knox of underground systems. One of the most protected environments on Earth. Fragile as hell, parts of it are literally toxic to breathe in, and yeah, absolutely off limits unless you've got serious clearance from the National Park Service. And that's not by accident. They've got microbiologists, geologists, even NASA folks studying this place. But the Parker twins didn't care. They walked in like it was a weekend hike, brought the bare minimum: helmets, cheap LED lights, 50 feet of rope, and a couple of water bottles. Enough for maybe half a day. Honestly, part of me respects the guts. But also, bro, it's one of the most dangerous caves in the country. What did they think was going to happen? By mid-afternoon, they'd descended about 800 feet into a part of the system believed to be unmapped. Around 4:15 p.m., they stepped into a chamber roughly 30 feet wide, 22 feet high. No signs of human entry. But something about it felt off. Their lights caught strange, reddish-brown material clinging to the walls and ceiling. Organic, but unfamiliar. That's when the movement started. At first, just a few centipedes, slithering down the walls. Then dozens, then hundreds, long, segmented bodies, each nearly 14 inches, began falling from above like living wires. The brothers had stumbled into a nest, and it woke up. Robert noticed them first, brushing one off his boot. He kicked it away, but that just seemed to trigger the others. Within moments, they were swarmed. The creatures crawled up their legs, under their clothes, and into every opening they could find. Michael screamed in pain, panic, maybe both. But that scream, according to later reports, triggered something worse. The sound allegedly incited the centipedes into a frenzy. They began pouring out from the walls, ceiling, even cracks in the ground. The two tried to retreat, but the entrance was already alive with writhing bodies. Robert tried dragging his brother back, but they were overwhelmed. The search didn't begin until 2 days later, when park rangers found their vehicle still parked at a remote access point. A team went in, and what they discovered 3 days after the twins went missing was described as one of the most disturbing recovery scenes in NPS history. Their bodies were barely recognizable, covered, or more accurately, embedded, in a dense mass of centipedes. Rangers claimed the insects had entered the eyes, ears, mouth, even the lungs. Autopsy notes, which some say were never officially published, allegedly described damage consistent with systematic internal feeding, especially in mucus-rich areas. The cause of death? A combination of trauma, suffocation, and shock, likely within 30 to 40 minutes of exposure. The species got dubbed cryptopel online, like it was some newly discovered cave-dwelling centipede. Sounds legit, right? Except, there's nothing. And when you check the official Lechuguilla records, nothing there either. No report of twins entering, no incident. Almost like the whole thing was made up. Or buried deep. Biologists familiar with the cave say the story doesn't check out. Sure, large centipedes do exist in caves. Scolopendra species mostly. Solitary hunters. Aggressive when cornered, yes, but not social. And certainly not capable of forming lethal swarms. Every part of this story fits the structure of modern horror fiction. Online, it's been shared under names like the Consumed from Within incident. But every official source says the same thing. No such deaths ever occurred. So what do we make of it? If it is fake, it's damn convincing. Built on real places, real rules, and a biologically plausible creature, just exaggerated. Maybe someone wrote it as a cautionary tale. Or maybe someone did go into that cave and never came back. And this is all that leaked out.